Blow me up. All right. I'll take it home then.
It was just you that wanted to buy
Yeah,
it.
Justin said, I can eat it. It's probably your budget. But you know, my.
Oh, your budget addendum. Yes.
Does that happen to me? Hi.
Hey, Deb's not gonna.
And so I was like, you know.
Devin? Scalzo. Okay, I'll take him out. Thank you.
And
Well, I told him, said I've got the buck again. You can thank Eric for that.
my mother,
He's been out anyway, so.
so it was nice. We had a fun time. We had a good time.
Students will take it actually, but
She likes her space off the plane most of the time. She would it was we had a good time. It was nice.
Is she a snow bunny or is she purple?
And she used to say she sees a lot of girls. For like 3 weeks to a month and then go home. So she might come back and then go home. Good, because it's
Well, in that sense, someone that was an accident.
and she found
Well, it was a stupid accident, but I think
like up here and down there. She's got a pick, and so because she goes to doctors all the time, check for. I can't.
good evening, everybody. I'd like to start the meeting and start it with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd all rise.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please have a seat. I'm going to open the floor to public comment. If there's anybody here. There's nobody. And then it looks like we're going to start with the student recognition.
We will. So we are so fortunate that this evening we have 3 separate groups who are being recognized. So we, as you know, we recognize throughout the whole school year each one of our schools and programs. So this evening's turn is our Litchfield Hills Transition Center. They're going to start off for us. They have a few slides that they will share with us, and it's an update for some of the work they presented to us last year. So we're going to begin. Students and the teachers will come forward. I'll give you the clicker, and they're going to talk to us about the Next Trex Challenge.
So some of you might remember we were back around this time last year, a little bit less than a year ago. I'm Ashley Albany, so I'm the transition coordinator. Sorry, for Litchfield Hills Transition Center, and I'll have everybody go down. Do you want to say your names?
I'm Gina.
I'm Luca.
I'm Sam.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Dawn. This is Donnie.
And I'm Larry.
So we had the Housatonic Resource Recovery Authority come and do a presentation for our students last year, and it was gave us so much knowledge about recycling. And as a program, we decided to take on the Next Trex Recycling Challenge, and we presented last year and shared what that was. So Next Trex, I also will throw out Tyler Hoddes is our tech student, and he helped put together this slide for us, the whole presentation.
Thank you.
He did a beautiful job. So Next Trex is proud to sponsor local programs and the community in collecting stretchable plastics. So if your team can collect more than 1,000 pounds of stretchable soft plastics, they will give you a bench. And so Litchfield Hills took on that challenge last year. We collected plastic from all of the schools. We collected plastics from a lot of our job sites. So if you know anything about our program, our students are out at job sites throughout the community in Brookfield, Washington, and New Milford. And so they happily participated. Students brought in plastics, families brought in plastics for us. So it's been a huge group of resources helping us to collect all of this plastic. And we met our goal in October, so it was incredible how fast we were able to do that with the help of the community around us. So that's not been without the work of all of the students helping to facilitate this happening. And now we're helping the 3 elementary schools to collect plastic. So we have Sarah Noble, Northville Elementary School, and Hill and Plain all working towards their own benches with the help of our program facilitating the collection of plastic. So each week, the students help coordinate pickup of the plastic at multiple locations, including all of the New Milford Public Schools. The local post office collects for us, the Brookfield Dry Cleaners, which is a parent of one of the Hill and Plain School children, the Village Dry Cleaners, and in addition, like I said, students, staff, family, and friends. Any of you are welcome to start collecting stretchable plastics, and we will happily take those. You can drop them off at the Max, or you could drop them off at one of the schools, and we would happily add them to our weekly drop-off. So the students each weigh them each week, calculate the totals, and then they deliver them to Big Y. And that happens sometimes multiple times a week, depending on how much we get. And then they're responsible for taking a picture and submitting it with the totals.
Put in a pile too.
And putting it in the pile, yep. So as of last week, this is where the 3 elementary schools were. So they started back in the fall, I think around the same time, October. So each school has about 350 or so pounds. So they're well on their way, and they have a full year to collect to earn their benches. And that's our bench that we received in October. So kudos to the students. This really has been an incredible program for us to participate in, for the students to take ownership in, and it's just incredible how much we've been able to do and what a good cause. So, well done, guys.
Ashley, can you give us some examples of the kind of plastics that you are collecting?
Yes, so anything over, like the plastic that goes over water bottles, toilet paper, cereal bags, bread bags.
When they're all bulked together?
Yep, when they're all bulked
Okay.
together, your Amazon envelopes are actually considered stretchable plastic, and you're able to recycle them. So we're happy to take any and all of that for you.
Great.
Yeah.
It has to be.
So it has to be clear plastics.
If it's not clear.
Oh, clean, yes. So clean plastic.
Clean.
So no food remnant.
Right.
You should wash it also.
That's great.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
All right, so we have a certificate for each of the students who are present, because as you know, these are ideal students that meet our ideals of focus, heart, collaboration, and creativity. And so we do have a certificate for the whole class, but our students who are present this evening will come forward and we'll take a picture with everyone together. So Luca Fabrizio Garcia. Tina Galligan. Sammy Garcia. Tyler Hattes. Donnie Mazzella. Thank you.
Awesome. You want to come over and take a picture?
I'll get
Here,
in the middle.
Squeeze on and get.
Honey, come on over. Come on over to the picture.
Everybody is ready.
Ready?
Hot stuff.
Sure, Donnie?
Last chance.
Come on, Donnie.
Come on, you could do it.
We'll crop them in. Now I think we'll take a picture of them.
All right, everybody. I'm going to take one of him anyway over there. Everybody, I'm going to take 3, okay? Say cheese. Donnie, you say cheese. All right, Donnie, you say cheese.
Wait.
All right, Donnie, I'm coming right next to you. There we go.
You ready, guys? Excellent.
Yay.
Thank you.
Our next student recognition, New Milford High School. These students were awarded the National Letter of Commendation. What that means is they are in the top 2% when they were juniors and took the PSAT. They scored in the top 2% of the entire nation.
Nice.
And so that means that they are awarded the National Letter of Commendation. So we will gladly acknowledge the excellent work. We'll start with Isla Rocca. Come on up. Congratulations, Isla. Come right here. Congratulations. Next is Phoebe Seppa. going to say Connor Wondolowski's name. He was not able to come at the last minute, but he was in the top 2% of the whole country also. And Adam Zamiti. So of our ideals, again, focus, heart, collaboration, and creativity. These students show those ideals in spades for sure. Now I'm going to be very short here. But
All right, guys, ready? 1, 2, 3, eyes open, smile.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And one more, New Milford High School. This is an unusual recognition because generally we recognize students for efforts that occur in school or in co-curriculars. However, these gentlemen who will come up on Super Bowl night, they were in their neighborhood and they were walking around, appropriately of course, and they noticed flames coming out of the chimney of one of the homes in their neighborhood. So they didn't run away, they didn't go on their phones, they went to the house, knocked on the door, alerted the homeowners who were not aware that there was a fire in their chimney, and were able to make sure that everyone was evacuated safely. So that's of course, that speaks to the character of our students, right, in New Milford Public Schools. I'd like to acknowledge first Braden Sarah. Next, we have Jackson Olmstead. Christopher Satir. So I would call that quick thinking. I would call it heroism in a lot of ways. And we're so very proud of what they did for someone in their neighborhood.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, cheese.
Thank you. You could take. All right. That's the most fun we'll have.
Thank you all.
Thank you
so much. We're going to move on to the PTO report.
Thank you, everybody.
It's nice.
Can I ask you?
Did you hear from him?
That's good.
And Randy, thank you, right?
Yes.
Who's out?
Ryan and Randy.
From either of them? Just wait till everybody comes out. Doesn't look like we have any PTO report tonight.
I don't know.
Have a good day.
They're done.
No people.
No PTO. Okay, it doesn't look like there's a PTO report. We're going to go ahead with our student.
So at Sarah Noble, this month, all 3 grades enjoyed learning STEM and coding in classes. This week, the New Milford High School students came down to teach our 5th graders at the World Language Expo. And they were pleased to host President Abraham Lincoln once again this year.
I'm standing right here. Unbelievable.
At Northville, they recently had the Lions Club do a vision screening for the students. The Excel preschool students learned about how to brush their teeth during a dental presentation by dental associates. February Cares Assembly focused on citizenship, and Miss Leto's 1st grade students performed Put a Little Love in Your Heart.
And then at Hill and Flame,
Ms. Callum the honor of the 26th Annual Elementary Celebrations by the Connecticut Association of Schools at the office and their families. You do. Students in-house learning. This experience allows staff beyond their own classrooms to observe learning practices and right spots in the classroom environment. Finally, the February was to reinforce student and best behavior expectations as well as define what citizenship is and how kind and productive community members uphill work. And then Seattle and then Milford High School on February 20th. NMHS, SMS, is their string fests at 7 p.m. in theater, and then February 27th is the NMHS and SMS Course Fly Up at 7 p.m. also in the theater.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to move on to the approval of the following Board of Education minute meetings. Meeting minutes, sorry.
Okay.
Regular meeting minutes, December 17th, 2024. Annual meeting notice minutes, December 17th, 2024. And special meeting minutes, November 19th, 2024. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Eric, any discussion? Sure, go ahead.
Our annual meeting notice, December 27th?
Say the 27th?
It says the 27th. Okay, on the agenda, it says the 27th.
See, mine says 17.
Yeah, so I just wanted to be clear that we're voting on the 17th. You see that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's the 17th of December. Okay, just for the purpose of, okay,
Strange.
that is strange. I'm here on the 27th, so I can vote on it for the 17th.
All those, oh, go ahead, Tam.
No, I was voting.
Okay. All those in favor? That's everybody, thank you. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. We have completed now just over 100 days for the 24-25 school year. That not only means that we're 100 days smarter, but we're more than halfway through the year. Students and staff are working hard across all of our schools as we enter this fairly long stretch until April vacation, which feels like 100 years from now. I want to remind everyone of the goals we're working on this year. These are Board of Education goals and also our district goals regarding student achievement, district and school environment, family and community engagement, honest and transparent budgeting, and high quality and engaged workforce. The decisions we make and the actions we take all point to those goals as we go on through the rest of this year. I will continue to share the many projects that we're working on to make those goals a reality. In the past few days, the salaries of our district employees, myself included, were published online and in print. Of course, salaries of public school educators are public information, which they should be, as we're compensated mostly through dollars from the local taxpayer. However, to me, publishing these salaries for the sake of publishing them, always around budget time, has an intent that is simply not helpful, as if our staff members don't deserve what they make. I get that stirring the pot and insinuating that our work isn't quite worth it generates website hits and sells papers. However, the missing sentence should have read, "These are the public school salaries for which the employees, regardless of title, earned every dime in support of the community's children and for the hours of care, thought, and preparation provided each day." Finally, the board will present the adopted budget to the Town Council and Board of Finance on Thursday, February 27th at 7 o'clock. As always, we appreciate the community's support of our work and support of the fair budget that has been created to support that work. Thank you.
The board chair's report. I don't really have a report tonight, but I just want to thank everybody for working really hard on the budget. We appreciate it. A lot of work goes into that. And then I just want to piggyback on Dr. Parlato's comment about the article in the paper. We too support every single administrator, teacher, everybody that works in our school system. It was I think it was an unfortunate article. And that's that. Then I'll move on to subcommittees. Start with policy.
Okay, so we did have our policy meeting earlier this month. Just as a reminder that we have reviewed all of our policies now, and the board is now making updates to policies with legislative changes. So tonight on the agenda, there are 5 policies on the agenda for first review, 6 policies on the agenda for second review and recommended for board adoption, and 9 administrative regulations as items of information. And just a reminder, we don't vote on those. So we'll see those later on this evening.
Thank you. Up next, Committee on Learning, Mrs. Herring.
At our meeting this month, we heard about some ECE classes, very exciting, at the high school. We got a brief overview of all those classes and what they could potentially mean for our students. We'll hear more about that later. Just checking. And pilot class at Scotticoke that's in its very early stages.
Nice. Thank you. Facilities.
Please, I'd just like to point out that later in the evening under items of information, Mr. Cunningham will be giving us an update on the status of the various projects and purchases that were funded by our capital reserve account. They made some very impressive progress, and it's a pretty long list, so I'll stop there and defer to Mr. Cunningham.
Thank you. And operations. It's the sty in my eye. It's really messing with my head.
Okay, monthly reports as usual for board questions and consideration. We also have a bid award for the board to consider. We also had discussed at operations our audit report. The audit report is favorable. It's extremely important to have favorable audit reports in municipalities. It reinforces the transparency and the financial competency, so we're delighted to hear that. I also asked that we had a conversation on our capital and our end of the year balances and how our energy project fits into our end of the year balances and what's put into our capital. It was a very detailed conversation, which I think was very helpful, because when you look at our end of the year balances, we have to earmark out that we are still paying back a certain amount for our energy program, and that is not part of the calculation. So when you open up the audit report, you'll see a dollar amount, but it truly doesn't capture what's put into the end of the year balance of the capital reserve. So we just kind of had a conversation about some of those funds, and that was it. Unless I missed anything, but that covers it.
Okay, discussion and possible action, monthly reports. The budget position dated January 31st, 2025, purchase resolution D-791, request for transfers. I'm going to read a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Wendy and Eric. Anybody have comment? Anybody want to say anything about this? Anybody?
Did an overview at operations, unless Anthony, you'd like to call it to the full board attention of anything. And I went through every line item.
Sorry about that. There was an overview at operations. We're within 1% of where we were at the same time last year. And we discussed there are still 2 items of note that will need transfers later in the year. Therefore, outplaced nursing services and also to cover the cogen maintenance agreement for the high school. There haven't been transfers proposed yet. Possibly next month you'll see 2 transfers for consideration.
Also in the revenue, the ECS, we expect that by the April operations.
The excess cost,
Yes.
which is on page 4 for the budget position, we expect the first payment usually late February, early March.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's not reflected as of yet.
Thank you, Anthony. All those in favor? That's everybody, thank you. We're going to move on to the bid award, theater audio video upgrades, E-2425-003. I need a motion to approve the bid award, theater audio video upgrades, E-2425-003. Dean and
Second.
Eric. Any discussion? Anybody have any comments, concerns?
I appreciate the follow-up on the questions that I had at operations sent to the board. That was very helpful. I had one other quick question. I know the recommended company, do they have dealings in Connecticut since they're based out of New York?
Mr. Turner.
They service districts in Connecticut, I assume.
Yes, they
I
do.
just want to be clear because they're based in New York. Okay,
And they work with Mr. Amenta in the spring.
okay. That was my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turner.
I don't know if Anthony had his hand up.
Doubt.
He's double duty there.
Anybody else?
No, I didn't have that information, so thank you, Mr. Turner. And yes, the information that was provided to the board that wasn't available at operations had to do with the warranty, of which they're warranting all the work for 1 year. That includes the panels and wiring, and the equipment purchased follows the manufacturer.
Right. That's important, the work warranty. Thank you for that.
All those in favor? And that's everybody.
Thank you, thank you.
Policy revisions for first read. 2500, retention and disposition of records and information. 4131, social media. 4231, I'm assuming.
It's also social media.
Yes, okay. It's one student, one's,
One's certified, one's non-certified.
okay, thank you, yep. 5125, confidentiality and access to education records. 5131.9, student use of the district computer systems and internet safety. And 5112, policy and administrative regulations regarding admissions to public schools at or before age 5. And then policies for second review and approval are going to be 5,000 non-discrimination students, 5111 student attendance truancy and chronic absenteeism, 5131 student discipline, 5142 administrative and student medications at school, 5145.45 students, and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 and Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, and 5165 graduation requirements. I'm looking for a motion to approve the following policies that I just read above.
Yep, so for D, because the C will go back to the board next month, because this is just the first review?
Yes.
So just, so
Just
the,
read off the D policies for approval.
correct, so all the policies listed under D, I will gladly make a motion to approve.
I'll move it. I'll second it, I'm sorry.
Anybody have anything to say about it?
Now, these are the ones that are second time here.
Right.
If that includes 5,000R?
No, ours are regulations.
Thank you.
So we don't.
Yep,
we won't vote on
I got you.
those. Okay. All those in favor? Everybody, thank you. We're gonna move to curricula for review and approval. It's going to be ECE calculus, ECE.
I was talking to myself, sorry.
Statistics, ECE microeconomics, ECE Chinese studies, ECE Middle Eastern studies, ECE U.S. history since 1877, ECE English, ECE intermediate marketing, and ECE exercise physiology.
So moved.
Second?
Was that you, Dean?
Yes.
Anybody have any discussion on that? Yes, ma'am.
These are like really exciting. I couldn't say that, like, we were all very, very pleased to see this. Thank you to Mr. Manka. I'm not sure if he's still here, but Mr. Manka and the team, and his team who worked on these, because these will provide students to get dual credit without, it's without having to take a final test at the end that determines whether or not you're going to get these credits. Some of them will be sat in with students in honors classes, some will be with the AP students, but it is such a wonderful way for us to get students into college with credits that will maybe reduce the amount that they're going to owe over the 4 or 5 years that they go. So this is a big move for us, and I'm very excited for it.
And if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Palau would correct me, it also helps us with the number of students that can get accredited as one of our benchmarks, too.
One of our district accountability indicators, you're right. Yep, exactly. Ms. Hollander, do you want to say a few words about this, or would you?
I would have to move quickly, just so you, these are proposals that are anticipated to be
in place for next fall.
That was my question.
This fall.
This is a little bit out of sync of our curriculum proposal cycle,
Yep.
but being responsive, we wanted to find a way. So that means that there'll be lots and lots to review in June, but the curriculum writing would begin as soon as you say yes.
And it's for this fall, right?
It's for this fall.
So thank you. That was my question exactly, because I'm hearing these wonderful things and we want to obviously get this going, but it seemed a little out of sync. So the intent is that this would be, we approve it tonight and we would have this set for the fall.
Yep, I'm ready to go.
How does that work with scheduling? Does it impact any time, no scheduling issue or anything like that?
No, because the curriculum process, the way we have it, is after school hours in the development.
Okay.
So individuals who are, expressed interest, so we went through it if we didn't have
Got it.
waivers. They would, they're ready to go, and then we just have to put together the tight timeline for development and feedback so that you have it ready for the June meeting to vote on.
Got it. So it doesn't, there's no impact.
No, this,
Thank you. All those in favor? That is everybody.
Go get them.
We're awesome.
Go get them.
Let's go.
Hit send.
Mr. Chair, can I say one thing? So we're partnering with UConn, WestConn, and Sacred Heart for these courses.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, so that's very exciting.
Are you going to have a question on the regulations?
Is this the PTO?
Because it's coming up.
Through the chair, if I may.
Oh, sure.
So our PTO person is here, so
Do we want to?
Madam Parliamentarian can help us figure out how we can do that.
There's no change in addition to the agenda that requires a motion. It's just an ordering, so it's by purview of the chair. So you can absolutely have her speak.
Yeah, you can come up and speak, that's fine.
Nobody told me the meeting was 6:30. I was told 7.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we changed the time for all meetings going forward.
Yeah, we'll make sure
Sorry, but I do apologize for
No,
that.
no.
You're here.
So my name is Deborah Van Zuiden. I was president of the Sarah Noble PTO last year, and this year the president is also named Deborah. She couldn't make it tonight, so I'm coming to talk for PTO. So the high school did something really cute. They sold Good Luck on Your Midterm treat bags. So the parents and guardians, they purchased a bag of goodies for their student to wish them luck on midterms, and then they pick up the treat bag at school. And that was a fundraiser for PTO, but also just kind of a cute thing to do for your student. They're also going to have a hot chocolate for seniors on SAT day. And that's when there's hot chocolate in the cafeteria. They can come sign their senior banner, and they also have school-wide spirit. At Scaticoke, most of their fundraising activities focus more on atmosphere and the school kind of I can't remember the word.
Culture.
Yes. They did a color run, which was actually really fun and cute. They sell friendgrams for Valentine's Day. They did have to cancel their dance in January due to a lack of volunteers. It's a rough time of year. Everyone wants to hibernate. But they are looking forward to rescheduling the dance and upcoming dances. Pre-K to 5 schools are all excited. They're celebrating literature with Read Across America. We always have PTO-sponsored author visits in all 3 schools. And readathons and book fairs coming up. At Sarah Noble specifically, I was lucky enough to be in the school on the day that President Lincoln came to talk to the 5th graders right here. And I happened to I was able to catch the tail end of it, and they were riveted. And I mean, these are 5th graders. They can be a big group of 5th graders. They can be, kind of talky or not really focused. And they were just riveted. And they had some really good questions for him at the end. So I thought that was fantastic for them, and I was lucky I got to see. He was great. The kids, even afterward when he introduced himself as the actor, the kids were asking him questions as if he was Lincoln. Great.
Yeah, it is.
Really
in the zone.
It's just so great. We also had Pilabolus come for the 4th grade, do some dance moves, and then we do a school store every month where we sell little things like erasers and pencils, and they pay with everything's between 25 cents and $1 or $2, and they bring their own money and they learn how to count change and how to budget, and then they leave with some little tchotchkes. So that's always been really popular. And we also did Valentine's Day grams. So that's just, and once again, I apologize for not
No.
coming at the correct time. I have just texted Megan, so
Oh, boy.
know that 6:30 from now on. So I thank you for.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb, we appreciate it.
Thank you. Is President Lincoln booked for next year for us?
It is
get 'em every
something that happens every year.
Okay.
So what usually happens though, we'll get the grant from the teachers like a few months beforehand.
That's
but
fabulous.
it tends to come every year. Living History, I think it's called.
That's great.
Including stovepipe hat, yeah.
I would imagine next year being a bicentennial kind of year.
Oh,
yeah.
250, we want to get some.
That's right, yeah.
Decorations up.
Some decorations.
Red, white, and blue decorations.
President Washington.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on to items of information. We're going to start with, I'm just going to read them off. 2500R, administrative regulations regarding the retention and disposition of records and information. 4131R, administrative regulations regarding social media, and along with 4231R. 5125R, administrative regulations regarding confidentiality and access to education records. 5131.9R, administrative regulations regarding student use of the district's computer system and internet safety. 5112, policy and administrative regulations regarding admissions to the public school at or before age 5. 5000R, administrative regulations regarding non-discriminations, that's for students. 5111R, administrative regulations regarding student attendance, truancy, and chronic absenteeism. 5131R, administrative regulations regarding alternative educational opportunities for expelled students. 5145.45R, administrative regulations regarding students in Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 and the Americans with Disabilities Act 1990. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, anybody have questions on that?
I just wanted to make one comment on, and it was kind of came up in our conversation in policy about the regulations regarding social media. So as long as we're clear that we just didn't want any teachers to get in any kind of trouble. There was something, I don't have it in front of me, there was something about you can't post school stuff on personal, to be careful about that. So make sure our teachers are aware of if there are any changes or anything. I'd hate for something inadvertently
to happen.
Get flagged, you know.
We push that out to them, right? The teachers?
Oh, for sure. Once it's yes. Once the whole thing is approved, I'll send it out and I will summarize it for teachers. And I'll bring it up in my meeting with the teachers union as well.
Okay, we're going to move on to the employment report. I noticed that we have Laura on there is retiring.
Laura, oh my goodness.
Mrs. Olson,
I saw that, I fell off my chair.
Exciting for you. Congratulations. I'm sure we'll talk about it again before.
In May, yep.
Yeah.
The big party.
Party. Yeah, so
You're throwing a party?
No.
That's right.
It's a small party. So you will notice Laura is retiring. We did post that position today. Laura has been gracious to give us until September 19th, so there will be crossover. The hope is to hire someone for 7/1. So the position posted today. We have a plan of attack for the position. We have a schedule of when things will happen. There'll be several rounds of interviews. Those will have board participation. Attendance the board will sit in on those, as you usually do. And some interviews with Tom and Tammy before. So we'll certainly have that. That's it. Any other questions?
Laura, thank you so much for all you do.
Yeah, thank you.
District. It is so appreciated.
I love this school district and I love it.
We are going to miss you.
Anyway, it's good.
I'm sure it is.
We're all really jealous of her,
Exactly.
We all want to be there, but I digress. I'm very excited for you.
Yeah, I think that 30 years of service in any school district is certainly nothing to sneeze at, and it's definitely, definitely applause-worthy. So we certainly thank you for your service. And again, when we have our retiree recognition in May, we'll say a lot more. So thank you.
We're going to move on to fiscal year 23-24 audit report.
About it in operations.
Let's see, enrollment first?
Oh, I didn't do it, I skipped enrollment? Oh, okay, enrollment.
Yeah, so enrollment is stable. You can see, I revised it a little bit so it's easier for us to understand, meaning the February ones. You can see the difference between the January and the February reports. It took me 2 years to say, like, I can't take any more the way it is, so I had to fix it. So now it's easier to understand. And so you can really see, if you look at the bottom left-hand side, you really see what the difference is between who we actually have in February 3rd, 2025 versus what that projection, and the projection was done almost 6 years ago now. How close was the projection to the actual? So you can see that it's still pretty good. 7 students off for pre-K to 2, only 1 student off, which is remarkable. Scotticoke has 11 more than projected. Again, that's not outrageously large. And then the high school is 39 under what the projection was. So that's it's an easier way for us to understand that.
Thank you.
Yes, for sure.
Anthony?
Yes. There's a memo provided from operations regarding the fiscal year 23-24 audit. The most important piece here is that there were 0 material weaknesses or deficiencies. The auditors come out, and I want to just also thank my team in the finance department. It's not just one person who touches base with these auditors and provides documentation. It's all the processes we put in place that play out through the year that allow us to have a clean audit and to be able to answer questions on the spot without requiring extensive follow-up. So I want to recognize my team in the finance department for their work on this. As Chairperson Fallenbach mentioned before, the memo here also carves out the different pieces of the fiscal year end balance, where they go, and where you can find them in the audit report that is on the town's website. And the second page of the memo provides the motions that were already approved by Town Council and Board of Finance on what happens to pieces of the fiscal year end budget. They're not posted on the budget position you saw earlier, because the budget position is as of January 31st, and as of that date, and even as of tonight's date, they have not been posted in munis, and we'll be following up with the town finance department. They usually post them by the end of February.
Thank you.
So I'll just echo, that's a lot of hard work that we do in fiscal services for sure, and to have a clean audit is really a feather in our cap. So I appreciate the work. Thank you.
Busing.
Yes, I think this
You
is
start and then I'll go, yeah.
I think this is a carryover from operations where we discussed verbally about the need for an executive session. That's later on the agenda this evening.
Thank you.
One of the reasons we're going into executive session is to discuss our challenges that we've had so far this year. And we'll speak with the board about, exactly the numbers of late runs that have occurred. And, I would just want to make sure that I state for the record that we know that it's not acceptable. And that there's giant disruptions to people's families in the morning and the afternoon, not to mention lost instructional time or late buses. So that's that's our motivation for this executive session coming up.
Thank you. Pilot course at SMS, Cultural Connection.
This course proposal, pilot is in response to the middle school's quest to limit study halls, which we have done. They have done a beautiful job. And this is an opportunity for students who may not want to take a world language in their middle school year. They have the time when they go to the high school, but it will give them an exposure to world languages and also focus on discipline literacy, which is an area that we need to focus on as well. So an exciting opportunity to explore for us. And then the goal would be, as we start to it, we see what it is, we put in a proper course proposal in October for your consideration.
Anybody have anything on that? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your work. Yeah. Appreciate
My
that.
colleagues.
Mr. Cunningham, it looks like you're up next.
We had a pretty in-depth review of facility subcommittee over our 5-year capital projects and where we stand on them currently, so I'll try to go through them rather quickly. Just to recap, so all the equipment that we ordered, the 40-foot lift, the trailer that it goes on, the John Deere bunker machine have arrived. Our Ford F-350 with the rack body lift gauge. I did receive a VIN number. Ford is currently making it as we speak, and we should have it this spring. We completed masonry repairs, new capstones, wall bricks. Camera Phase 2 project that concerned the elementary schools. We have the servers in place, cameras installed and are running. We have those views. So we're about 95% complete. There's some fine tuning we still want to do. As far as the playground equipment, our neurodiverse students, we've contacted vendors. I'm in discussions with the special education department. We hope to have those in place this summer. We have engineering specs for the Hill and Plain School septic system. That's work that we would do in the late spring, early summer. The RFP for the canopy roof at Hill and Plain School, that is in with, I think the attorney has that now, is reviewing it. It should go out on the street at the end of this week. HPS gutters and snow gardens on the gym side and playground side are completed. The facilities building, the farmhouse, the asphalt shingle RFP will go out in the next 2 weeks. The NES roof study for Northville, option 4 is recommended to the town. That's the standing seam metal roof with the 2-ply bit flat roof. I don't know where that is with their bonding cycle, and I have more information on that according to the board. The RFP for the new Milford High School gutter seam repairs, that is now on the street, so to speak. That was on CT Source. The repair, the main curtain was done. We are up next is to have the smoke curtain recalibrated. Scattercoke septic system, I did speak with Connecticut Deep. They let me know unofficially that our wastewater management plan was approved in draft, so we're just awaiting official response on that. And then I did receive the report from Weston and Sampson giving us cost estimates, and various options. I just received that in an email today, so I reviewed that with Weston and Sampson this week, and that's regarding the underground storage tank at Scattercoke. Most of these projects I feel comfortable will happen this summer. I have to admit, though, that there's a long lead time on tanks. So whether we go above ground or below ground, I don't know if that gets done this summer or not, and it's just the industry. I'm a little reluctant to dive into that into the fall because it's such a small area as it is at Scattercoke with parking, and that can affect your ability to receive food deliveries and garbage dumpsters being dumped and unlimited parking. And then, God forbid, if you did have any issue where there was anything with soil and you had to do any kind of remediation, that just extends it now into the season. So when I have some more information on that, I will obviously provide to the subcommittee and then the board.
I just got one thing I'd like to say. There's a long list. The one thing at the facilities meeting that I thought we were all delighted to hear about was the playground equipment. And I think you may have mentioned earlier in earlier meetings that you had done focus groups with students as to what types of playground equipment. What you discussed at the last meeting was how you've been working with the special ed department to create a neurodiverse playground experience for kids with autism or other types of, so that it's both not intimidating to them, but it's also enriching to them. And I just thought, rather than just replacing playground equipment, you're really taking an advantage to make this something special. So thank you, and thank you to special ed for all of that. That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else? Field trip. we're going places, right?
Yes, out and about in the world. It's a tough weather time of the year for both sports and winter percussion and winter guard. So, but they always make up those events, and so you can see a lot of winter guard and winter percussion on the list, and some nice experiences for FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America, and DECA, going out in the world as well.
Thank you. And gifts and donations.
And the field fundraising also is connected to that, so the usual PTO fundraisers are happening. And we received another donation from the Battelle Stockel Music Trust Grant for concert supplies, instruments, and any uniforms we want. And so for the high school, they received $9,500. That was lovely.
Nice, thank you. I just see one thing in here, and I don't know if it's on the agenda for from Mr. Turner.
Oh, it's about the planetarium.
Yes, thank you, from Digitalis.
Digitalis, yes.
Digitalis. Is that anything we need to talk about? Or?
I think we had the planetarium in the purchasing.
Yes.
So we'd have to go back, right?
Yeah, it was on purchase resolution 791. I think it was an item of information at operations subcommittee.
It was, we discussed it at operations. But it wasn't listed separately on the agenda. Technically, if anybody has any questions, it's covered under financials. Anyone
For
can
sure.
ask a question, for sure.
I can even say a few words about it.
Sure.
Okay, I just didn't want Jeff to feel left out.
Oh, no, he never does.
Yeah.
He's back there. He'll pop out if we need.
No, he heard his name.
There he is.
There he comes.
So we,
Uh-oh.
yeah, we are going to upgrade the planetarium here at Sarah Noble School. And we love the fact that the gentleman of the observatory, some years ago, 20 years ago at least, put together a projector system for that planetarium and built the dome and everything that's part of it. It's such a unique feature for a school district. And so because we have that 2% carve-out money, we were going to use some of that in order to upgrade the projector so we can have really like a 5D experience for students in there. And so we're planning to order that. We're going to put carpet on the floor. The dome will remain because that doesn't need to be upgraded. But the experience for all the students who go through Sarah Noble will really be remarkable. And we'll have a grand reopening once the projector is purchased and installed and the carpet is installed, and we'll make sure that everybody comes through and is able to see it. We're also going to upgrade the sound system, so it'll be a full sensory experience for all the students. It'll also be, we can also make connections to what they do at the McCarthy Observatory and the property of the high school. We can take any sorts of videos or films that they have and upload it to this planetarium, so the kids can see the stars above New Milford as well. It's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be an incredible experience for kids, and we're creating curricular experiences so that every single child goes through numerous times in the course of their experience at Sarah Noble School.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is the planetarium used a lot?
So
like often?
I brought that up in operation.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, here we go, part two.
No, I think COVID, and then I think the re-engaging with it, but it, like Dr. Perlotta mentioned, it was 20 years old, and so it was kind of getting
It's a little hard to use.
So we needed to find the materials to kind of get it back up and running. It is being used the way that it is. It's being integrated as part of the curriculum in this department, in the
Library media,
but also the art as well, and music.
Okay, good. So it's being used now, and it's going to be used even more once we get the appropriate updated equipment.
Yeah, and in the last iteration of this, we sort of had a couple key people who were the keepers of, and our goal here is to have it be very much owned by the way the materials are set up. It will be easier to have people.
It would be much easier to operate, yes.
It really is a gem. Everybody should go.
Absolutely, having a planetarium.
Yeah, we'll have some visiting. We'll have some visiting times and allow people to come through in the evening when they're available.
I'm just wondering, I have a question. So you use funding and I just would want clarification about where that funding comes from.
So part of the educational cost sharing that we receive from the state, that goes to the town. We, as a school district, are able to apply for 2% of that funding. So 2% of it, rather than the whole thing going to the town, we're able to keep in the school district. So we use part of that funding, of that 2% carve-out that we have in the school district, to purchase the projector.
Okay, and you
And we
called
apply
that
for the,
what?
what did you say?
What did you say that was that you used an acronym?
2%
No,
carve-out
not.
of
Cost
the
sharing?
education.
ECS, educational cost sharing.
Yes, that's, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm just
Educate-
making sure. I love this. This is wonderful. I'm not saying there's a problem. I just want to make sure that everybody understands where the money's coming
And
from.
we also end up paying the town back for
We
that
pay
as
back
well.
that
So we
money.
reimburse them for the 2%
The
of
town
that.
doesn't, the
Where-
town doesn't lose the revenue on that, because if that money technically, if I may, that money technically goes to the town, but this board made a motion to carve out of that 2%, with the agreement that whatever we take out of, take that would normally go to the town, we'll pay it back. And
From our end of year balance.
From our end of the year balance. And so actually, I think we had asked for a list or an update of that carve out, and we were sent that. So that's important.
And the whole point was to provide flexibility throughout the year if there, something came up that wasn't covered in our operational funding, that we would have
Well, to your point, Randy, I think what's really important is this is not a supplemental charge to the taxpayer.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
the point.
That's the point I'm making right
So it's not that the
now.
taxpayer's getting a bill for this, I guess, if that's to give the drive-up version of that kind of thing, so.
Yes. Thank you, Wendy.
But I would also
appreciate
say,
it.
yeah, I also would say, though, that it isn't meant to supplant the general fund budget or take the place of the general fund budget. That's why it really should be for special or extra things such as upgrading the planetarium.
Well, that was perhaps the whole intent of the carve-out, is to take the 2% that was not captured in an operational budget, something not to, that you can't supplant the budget, and say, how do we identify that 2% in things that we come across that we need that are not identified in the operational budget? Do it very transparently through board votes, conversation, and we pay back the town and quote the taxpayer in the process.
Which doesn't happen in every other district.
No, it does not.
It's because we're limited on what we can pull from other parts of the budget, correct? So this gives us like an open.
We're super
We're
limited.
limited. I mean, end of year, but, well, the end of year, at that point, we're paying it back, so it's like a credit card, if you will. It's like you're able to pay it back without any
To the
interest.
town, yep.
The town.
The town loses no revenue from us taking the 2% carve-out.
Thank you.
And we could have nice things.
I appreciate it, and Wendy, thank you for
Oh, no
that. I
problem.
appreciate that.
Okay, we're going to move on to discussion and possible action concerning proposed collective bargaining agreement between the New Milford Board of Education and the New Milford Educational Secretaries Association, chapter of Local 136, IFPTE, executive session anticipated. And I hereby move that the board enter into executive session for the purpose of review and consideration of the New Milford Educational Secretaries Association. Invited into the executive session are Dr. Janet Parlato, Superintendent of New Milford Schools, Mr. Anthony Giovanni, sorry, Anthony, Director of Fiscal Services and Operations, and Mrs. Teresa Kavanaugh, sorry, Director of Human Services, and Attorney Zachary Sherd. Is he here? Zachary Sherd.
Do you need a second?
I do.
You make the motion, you need a
Yeah,
second.
I need
I'll
a second. Thanks, Tom.
I'll second it.
Wait, Leslie, did you
I
make the
moved it,
motion?
yeah.
You moved it, so he seconded it, okay, so.
Oh, okay.
It's okay, Leslie and Tom, okay.
All those in favor? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I made demands.
Thank you. I thought it was kind of ironic how we were sitting here freezing our asses off. Much better.
I hereby move that the board ratify the successor agreement between the New Milford Board of Education.
You all right?
Yep. Does that go? Right here? Okay, I'm going to start over. I hereby move that the Board of I hereby move that the board ratify the successor collective bargaining agreement between the New Milford Board of Education and New Milford Education Secretaries Association and authorize the board chairperson to execute such collaborative bargaining in agreement subject to any necessary legal review.
So that's different than what we
So
had.
moved.
Second.
All right, so Wendy and Eric?
Sure.
That sound good?
That was me.
And then that next one.
We gotta vote.
We have to vote on it.
All those in favor? Everybody?
Unanimous.
Yay.
Okay.
Now, number 2.
I hereby move that the board authorize the board chair to execute the memorandum of understanding discussed by the board in executive session with the New Milford Educational Secretary Association.
So moved.
So Wendy's moving that?
Sure.
I'll second. Dean second.
Okay. All those in favor? Thank you. Okay.
One more.
I hereby move that the board enter into executive session for the purpose of review and consideration of written attorney-client privilege communication regarding student transportation issues and invite into the session Superintendent Dr.
Something's missing.
Perlato, Mr. Anthony Giovanni, Director of Fiscal Services and Operations, and Attorney Zachary Shuren. Make a motion.
So moved.
Eric and Randy. All those in favor?
I added that.
I'm very confused.
Can I have a clarification on the previous motions, please? Coming out of executive session, were there 3 total motions? Ratification 2 MOUs or ratification 1 MOU?
I'm very confused. I have.
Should have been.
So there's a missing motion on your sheet.
Okay.
Yes, there's no motion for the actual contract. There's only a motion on mine for
Hers is different. That's why I'm asking.
Right, so there is a motion to ratify the contract that I wrote in onto Mrs. Sarage's.
I see.
Right.
And did we vote on that?
Yes.
That was the first one.
That's the first
That's
one.
the one I thought I
That's
voted
this
on.
one.
That was Wendy. That was Wendy and Dean.
That was Wendy and Eric. And then the second one was an MOU.
Yeah.
Is there another MOU?
That was Wendy and Dean.
I think the MOUs were taken together, but we could divide
No, I didn't ask to bifurcate it.
Yes.
Were they included in the same motion? That's my clarification. So for the purpose of the minutes, the MOUs are carried in motion number 2, and the ratification was motion number 1.
Right.
Yes, that's right. They were both in that motion?
Perfect.
Yep, got it.
All over yours. Sorry.
No, that was
Anymore.
That's surprising.
I'm still lost.
Why?
I have no idea.
That was
Missing
the
a motion.
best thing today.
For the ratification.
I hereby move executive to memorandum and discuss.
That's all right. Who's scared? Smiley face, I swear.
Ratification. Leslie had it because I wrote her own.
Okay, so going into executive session.
I just did it.
We're going into executive session again?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
Randy and I made seconded first.
Yes, first and second.
Yep.
You okay, Tim?
No.
Okay, stop.
No, I'm not okay. So we went into executive session to talk about the Secretary's Union. That was Leslie Todd, unanimous. We went at 7:27. We arrived back here at 7:56. Then Wendy moved and Eric seconded
This one.
and that's the one that you read. Okay, so that was something different.
That's the
Because you don't have it.
Ratification.
That's the motion to ratify.
You see that?
So now we are going to do this one. I
We already
hereby.
did the MOU one, done. MOUs are done.
That's done, and that was who made the motion?
The MOUs were done in one motion. They
That
were
was Wendy and
one-
Eric.
It was Wendy and Dean.
Ratify and motions. Okay.
Both of those MOUs.
Gotcha, okay.
Ms. Oliver, we'll just have to add the motion regarding the ratification. Yeah.
You good?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, we can go in.
That was a very good.
Thank you, Terry.
Contract, that was great.
Got it.
8:01.
He was here and Punch.
Yes, I do.
You're live.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Yes.
Wait.
Gotta get moved.
Welcome back at.
Wait a minute.
We were back at 8:46.
8:46. Tom made a motion. And Eric,
So moved.
all those in favor of adjourning?
Thank you. Good job, you guys. Good job, Leslie.
Stay another hour.
Oh, and guess what? My sty